Oh, good morning, my Teaserking family. Hope everybody is well today. I'm kind of eating lunch with the professor today. Just my avocado. Um, well, let's review. So, in my locks last week, 3 college, should have been 5, and 4 pro. And I go 5 winners, 1 loser, and a tie last night with KC -1. So we push. That's the second week. I pushed. Well, not really. It's the second week, though. I had a bet where I pushed. And how this game pushed is it's impossible. Okay, there's such fixing going on. It's unbelievable. So the score is what? 24-23, Kansas City. They score a touchdown to go up 30-23. They're up 7. They go for 2. Why would you go for 2? Just kick your extra point. Now you're up 8. Now you cannot lose. If they do score, they have to have a 2-point conversion to tie you. Why would you not kick the extra point in this universe that we live on? What in God's name was Andy Reid thinking? Why would you ever, excuse me, I'm just having an avocado. In this world, who in their right mind goes for 2 when you're up 7 already? You've gone up 7. You can't lose. You can lose if you miss the extra point, but if you make it, now you're up 8. Forces them to go for 2 and make it, which we all know is extremely hard. They go for 2, they don't get it. Okay, so you go up 9. Explain something to me. I don't get it. I just kick the extra point. I'm up 8. And now I'm so tired of hearing this analytics that nobody's analyzing. Is the analytics even real? And does it even work? Because I've yet to see analytics work. All I know is Matt Rule got fired because he uses analytics and he goes for it on 4th down 100 times a game and never makes it. You give up field position and momentum. So why in the world would they do it? And it blows my mind that when I watch the highlights of it, that they didn't just kick the extra point, go up 8. The Raiders actually score. And now the Raiders are even dumber because now they just kick the extra point to tie. And we'll go overtime. We're moving. We've scored 30 points in the game. I don't understand the coach who goes for 2 for the win. Because they're not calculating when the game's on the line, getting the 2-point conversion is probably 2%. Never happens. I don't recall a team that needed the 2-pointer to win to get it and win. It just doesn't happen. So I'm just really lost. Excuse me. I'm just really lost at how stupid these coaches are. So it's almost like you're not hiring a coach. You're hiring a guy. Excuse me. He's got a piece of paper with the analytics on it, and he's going, oh, if the score is this, I go for 2. Oh, if the score is this, I go for 1. If it's 4th and 5, I'll go for it because the odds on me getting it are 5%, but what the hell? Wait, where's the other team gets motivated by me disrespecting them and going for it on 4th down and not getting it, and the other team wins the game? Oh, 100% of the time. Where's that part of the analytics? And it's not showing up anywhere. So that game doesn't make any sense. So before I start, I'm going to get into my other head. So I go to buy silver today. They don't have the coins. The only thing they had are eagles. He had the plastic 20 at $35 a piece, which doesn't make sense because the mint doesn't make make them. These are U.S. Eagles, but he sells them at 35. Nobody buys them because they're 35. If I buy the Buffalo Head bullion, which is an ounce of silver, and it says it on it, it's $24. This is 10 ounces that I got for $235. Now, if I had bought the same 10 American Eagles, it would have been $350. And the question is why? You're not buying this as money per se. It will be money, but I'm not buying, when I buy an ounce of silver, an ounce of gold, if an ounce of gold is $50, I'm not buying it for $50 or for the $50 because it's not $50. It's the value is in the gold. The value is in the silver. So this I got for 23. Now, keep in mind, there's a certificate, silver certificate, which proves it's silver. Just in case you don't think that it says silver on it. Pardon me. So it says 999 silver. So that should prove it. And it's got the little zip code on the bottom. So now instead of normally I was going to buy 10 coins, I got this. So the pros of this is it's 10. So if I want to buy a bigger purchase, I can just use the 10 versus if I just want to go to the restaurant and spend one silver coin, soon they'll be worth about 2,000 an ounce. So you'll be buying groceries and bills with silver. Excuse me. Hey, Bonilla. Just turning in now. So did you buy that 10-ounce silver in person or online? I go to the store. So when I show you this, right? So this is really close to my house. So when I show you this, here's the guy I buy it from. It's 3 miles away. I go to the store, I pick it out, I give him money, and then I walk home with it. So I don't have to worry about FedEx or anything else. I got it. Goes in the safe and off I go. So yes, I go to the store, but I want to show you. So as I'm teaching, you can buy the bar versus the coin. It's okay. As long as it says 999 silver. And in this case, it has the certificate. You don't need it for the coins, but for this, you might want it. Then what it's showing you is that it's real silver. And as the price goes up to 1,000, 2,000 an ounce, this will be worth times 10. So if it's 2,000 an ounce, this is worth 20,000. I just spent $230 on it. Now keep in mind, the biggest thing is there's no supply. It's drying up. So in economics, supply and demand are supposed to get you the right price. The more the supply, when the demand and the supply are equal, then you get a price. That's the market. What you have is COMEX. It doesn't equal right now. The price is here. The demand's here. So what's supposed to happen is, I want it. I raise the price. I want it. I raise. So the demand for silver is so high now. You have to now buy bars because they don't have coins. They can't get them. So the mint's not doing their job. But I'm giving you an option of saying buy the bars fine as long as it looks like that. So we were planning to sell that when the price goes up on it next year or so. I wonder how would I go about selling it? How do you sell anything? How do you sell a Rolex? How do you sell? Let's say you own a Rolex and it's now worth $20,000 and you want the money. How would you sell it? Well, you'd either go back to the jewelers you bought it at, and he's going to not give you a fair price because he's the seller, or you go on eBay, where I just saw an $80,000 Rolex sold on eBay. And as long as you use PayPal and you'll get the money, okay, I got 80 grand in the account. Now I'll ship it. Until I get that money, I'm not shipping it. Once I see the money in my account, then I ship it. So that's how you'll sell it, either on eBay, or you sell it to me or a friend or, somebody who needs money. I assume that's what's going to happen is they'll eventually, as the money becomes worthless, come out with some new money. Money's money as far as going to the grocery store, going to dinner. You're going to need to pay in some form. So they'll always have some form of way to make that payment. But the silver will buy you that payment, right? So this is going to buy you a whole lot of whatever the new dollars that they're going to use to do the transactions of going to dinner, going to the grocery store, going to the movies, getting your car fixed, paying your rent. So there'll always be something to do it. The silver will buy you a lot of that. The gold will buy you a ton of that. You'll actually just go to you want a Mercedes, you're just going to go with an ounce of gold and say, here, I want this Mercedes. And they'll take it and they'll give you the Mercedes. So depending on what you're buying, you might just give them the gold for the car or the house or a suit or, whatever it is. And that's why the silver is good. So I can go to dinner and here's an ounce of silver, although I'm sure it'll be worth a lot more than the dinner, but they will have a way of making change, right? That's what our big question is, right? You got a Rolex for 80,000. Now you get cash, and then there's ones and fives and tens, and you use your debit card. That's how they do the little ones. But so basically, that's what this will do. The idea right now for me is getting out of U.S. dollars. That's I got in U.S. dollars. Oh, no, I'd rather have silver. And the key is I'm buying it while it's still available and still available at this price. Once this hits 2,000 an ounce, A, where are you going to find it? And B, how are you going to pay for it? Where are you going to get the money for it? Then eventually this little 10 ouncer is going to buy me an ounce of gold. That's how, because the price of silver is so low compared to gold, it'll shoot up. And it's about 7 to 10 to 1. So eventually, let's say gold hits 50,000, eventually silver will hit like 7 to 1. So that'll be what? It'll be like 7,000. And then 10 ounces of silver will buy me another ounce of gold. And that's one way I can do it. Or I can have the silver just to do the normal things. Cool. So I can order that 10-ounce bar from your guy and pay shipping. For instance, does he have a website or is it a call? Just call him. I was just there. I tell him that I show it on my show and that, if you started getting calls, it's because I'm showing them where to get it from. He thinks it's for him. It's really for you guys. It's so you guys can buy it at a really good price. But he thinks like I'm bringing him business, but I'm really not. I'm bringing you guys to the right place. And he's fine with it. My buddy just bought 100,000 worth of gold, and then he went back and bought another 100,000. I don't know if it was 100,000. He bought 100 ounces of silver. Or more than that, I think. Maybe it was another 100,000 of silver. But he just went back for this because I told him you need silver too. That'll go up, not as high as gold, but it'll go up. So I can just tell the Teaserking sent me. Tell him Howard sent you. I don't know. Well, he probably knows me as Teaserking, but I'm the guy that's always in there on the Saturdays. Just tell him that. But yeah, you can definitely mention my name. Again, I'm in there saying, are you getting phone calls? Because I'm telling. And I know in some states they're charging tax. He will not charge you. There should never be sales tax because you're buying money. Really what you're doing is getting out of U.S. dollars before it goes to zero, and you're buying real money, silver and gold, which is going to go through the roof because the price of the U.S. dollar is going to zero. And most people get out of the stock market. Please, I beg everybody who watches and listens, please get out of the stock market. It's going to go down to nothing because the companies, can't absorb the extra cost, but they can't pass it on. You can't, if the mug's $10, I can't charge 20 because my costs go up because nobody's going to buy it. Plus people aren't going to have money. So it's just, get out of it. All right. So I wanted to get that out and show you that it's okay to buy the bar. It's it's 10 ounces. B, it's $9.99 silver. And C, it's got the certificate. So it's got everything that if somebody questions it. And then, so this is like if you have the coins, you sell one or two. Here you just sell a 10-ounce chunk at a time. But that was, I think, $235 for 10 ounces. So it's $23 an ounce. They're still using Comex, and I keep laughing going, why are you guys still using Comex? We all know it's broke. We all know it's not the real price. It's the derivative price on purpose to keep the price down. What kills me is why the U.S., why aren't people here? See, people here, what's happening are running to the stock market. They smell something's wrong. So for protection, they're in CDs, which is incredibly stupid because you're getting 2% and inflation's 10 or 20. So I'm losing 10% just on that. Plus the value of the money I put in goes down. Number two, they're putting money in the US dollar, which we know is getting killed. Or they're putting their money in the stock market. Not good. And pretty soon the Russians and the Chinese who have a bunch of US dollars are going to dump them because they know there's no value in them. They're going to want gold and silver, and they're just dumping their dollars and just getting out of it because they can see what's going to happen. So anyway, that's economics today, but this is going to happen pretty quick, very quick. So be careful. Be careful that you have too much money in the bank that you won't be able to get out. And be careful if you have money in your stocks that it's going to drop. So you want to kind of get your money out of the stock market, but then like I have an IRA and then it's moved the money out of the bank, even if it's in your safe, and then go buy your gold and silver with it. That's really the key. So with that said, let's get back to football. So I had 4 locks this week. I had Tampa Bay in a must-win back against the wall, which I gave free. I was a good boy. They win 21-15. I was laying 2.5. See, I bet it early. I saw 8.5. I know the line's going to 10. I bet it then. I have all my customers bet it then. It ends up at 10. They still win by 6. I don't know what happened, why they didn't score in the second half. It was 13-0. They score is 21. And again, these going for twos is so stupid. And then Atlanta. Okay, so tell me why Atlanta is down 21-7, scores and goes for 2. Now it's 21-15. Can you explain it to me? They happen to get it, but wouldn't you kick the extra point, go 21-14, and now I can go to overtime? We're here. If I don't get it, I then have to hit a 2-pointer, get a touchdown and a 2-pointer to tie the game up. So the risk and the reward don't make sense here. So that was the first lock. Second lock was the 49ers under 46, and we're winning it at the end. And then this is why Rule gets fired. He sits there and on his own 10-yard line, what does he do? It's 4th and 10. You punt the ball. No, he goes for it on his own 10-yard line. I've never seen that before. So you got the ball at your own 10, and you watch games that get upset. I mean, you punt. No, nobody wants to punt anymore. We'll go for it. Yeah, you're really going to get it on 4th and 10. Oh, yeah, sure, against the 49ers, right. So instead of punting, and then I run the clock out, they go for it. Ball's at the 5-yard line, and then, of course, San Francisco scores. My buddy goes, well, why, we miscalculated Carolina's defense that we thought was better. And I said, no, I thought it would be a shutout. I thought the Niners would win just like the Ram game, 24-9. I thought it would be 24-0 or 30-0. I didn't think Carolina would score. So somehow they got 15 there, probably because they played on a Monday night and then they traveled from West Coast to East. So they're a little tired. It's Carolina. And that's why the coach is gone from Carolina, because he plays analytics instead of playing football coach. The third lock was Dallas under. Dallas was 44 at the time. Again, tell my customers go under 50. They again go under. This time it doesn't matter. An easy 22-10 win. 32. We're under 50. Third lock wins. Fourth lock was last night. KC -1. I locked them with Tampa, and then I locked them when I played my college lock of TCU. So my locks were UCLA over, winner, Georgia under, winner, Texas TCU over, winner, Tampa Bay, winner, Dallas under, winner, Frisco under was the only loser, and then KC -1, which I, again, don't understand when it's 23-22 or 24. No, it's 24-23, and you score, you're up 7. How do you not kick the extra point? I don't get it. Now I'm up. Now they got to score and get the 2-pointer to tie me. I can't lose. Who doesn't go to a can't lose situation? Benila, yeah, I don't understand why the hell the Chiefs went for 2 last night after going up 30. An extra point would put them up 8. It was a stupid move by Andy Reid. He should know better. See, Andy Reid's not a good coach. Everybody thinks he's good. He gets you to a point, but he can't finish. And look at Philly, 5 years they went to the championship game, and 4 years they lost to nothing teams. And then they finally went to the Super Bowl and lost to New England. And then at Kansas City, he lost to New England 3 or 4 times. And then he got the one win when he goes to the Super Bowl against the Niners because, again, Shanahan has his head up his ass and keeps throwing the ball with a 10-point lead. They should have easily won. Hey, Darlene. Okay. Funny thing was that Raiders score a touchdown after, but then they went for 2 as well and didn't get. Yeah, well, that's so. What should have happened was KC kicks the extra point. They're up 8. Oakland scores. Now they have to go for 2. They don't get it. KC wins by 2. My locks, KC -1 in 2 locks. I got other bets out there. KC -1 all over the place, which I again push. And my 10-team teaser screwed up by San Francisco on that stupid under. But basically, that's what you have on that. So, yeah, I didn't understand that either. I don't get why. And then you listen to Troy Aikman. So I'm watching the highlights this morning, and I'm listening to Troy Aikman. He says, well, if you have a chance to win, to take the lead, you do it. Troy Aikman, what are you talking about? You kick the extra point, you go to tie, and then you go from there. I don't understand. What I don't understand is the announcers are all like, well, that was a smart move going for it on 4th down. That was a smart move going for 2. Like every time they go for 4th down or 2, it's a smart move. No, it isn't. We've been watching football our whole lives. Don't tell me it's a smart move. It's a stupid move. You take the tie. KC, Oakland should have tied the game up, and we should have went to overtime. Then maybe KC wins, kicks a field goal, and they win. But even the overtime rules are idiotic. Well, if you have the ball first, we have to be fair. We have to be socialist, and we then have to let the other team have a chance. You just played 60 minutes. No, you don't need the other team to have a chance. If you can't stop them when they get the kickoff and they kick a field goal, they win. It's sudden death. It's not, well, let's be fair. No, they've had 60 minutes to win. It's so stupid. So you kick a field goal and they get the ball and they kick, and it's like, oh my God, how stupid is this? Anyway, so yeah, I don't get why KC or Oakland doesn't just kick the extra point and tie. It doesn't make any freaking sense. These coaches are so everybody with the analytics, but yet all these coaches get fired because the analytics don't work. Because the thing they're missing is when you go for it on 4th and don't get it, you pump the other team up. And I guarantee you, every time they go for it on 4th down and don't get it, the other team wins. And when you go for 2 and you could tie the game up and you don't, you lose. And when you lose, the coach leaves. Jacksonville used to do that shit all the time. The other coach, Marvell or whatever, before Urban, he'd go for two, go for the win, and they lose, and they lose, and they lose, and he was out of work. So it's incredibly stupid. Oh, anyway, so those were the 7 locks. The 2 locks that I wanted to do was the Houston-Memphis over, because it was only a 57. It was over 51. They scored 67. And then the other one was the Washington-Arizona State game, which was 57. So it's over 51. They score 80 in that game. I have locks circled, like I'm going to lock it, but I just miss it in all the clutter. I played the game. That was a big play for me, was the over, Washington and that. But, and that's where it gets, I got 8 locks. How many can I have? But it's like when I do baseball, if the game's a lock, if Verlander's pitching, it's a lock. So in the same token here, if the game's a lock, maybe I could have locked, I don't know, Cincinnati. I a free pick. I could have played them. That to me was a lock. So let's go through the games. So we start off with Indy Denver. Denver laying 3. Indy wins 12-9. We play the game under 43 because both teams are under teams. They don't score. They have under defenses. Indy's 13-2 as a road dog. I could have played Indy. Again, why was Denver favored? They shouldn't be. They're not very good. But I go under because it's 43. So I go under 49, easy winner. Green Bay and the Giants, I kind of am very leery about this. Play against Green Bay as a road favorite. Games in London, they're the road favorite. They're not in Green Bay. They're 6-0 against. Now they're 7-0 against. I thought the spread was a little bit high. Went up to 8-41. I circle the under. I don't play the under. It ends up at 49. That would have been a killer if you played at 41 and go under 47, and it's 27-20, and the Giants take a safety. So that's a killer. But basically, this is an under game. Both teams are under. Both teams have good defenses, and yet 27-22, the Green Bay defense that gave Tampa 12 points did not show up here. The Giants, this Jones guy, he's so bad. All he does is run. I don't understand these quarterbacks. They go back and they run, or they throw, or Trevor Lawrence throws these 5-yard passes. All they do is hit the backs or the crossing patterns, except for when he's down in the end zone, then he throws interceptions. This is why he just throws 5-yard passes. So, again, this Daniel Jones just stinks, but he runs. Green Bay. See, the coaches aren't smart enough. You pressure these guys. You blitz them because you take the run away from them. They can't pass. So, again, this is terrible quarterbacking in their running. Anyway, so Green Bay loses. Rodgers, the last play of the game, he throws the ball batted down, telegraphed. They had run it for a touchdown earlier. I thought this was a stupid play call, but they didn't, I don't think, had timeouts, so it was all they could do. Again, I like to run it because it's so hard to pass, but it was so obvious. There's one guy on the right. He looks to the right. So the defensive end knows he's got to throw it there. There's nothing else there. That's the play, but you can't keep running the same play. I like the fake handoff. The tight end goes through the line, pretends he's blocking, and then he's wide open in the end zone. Dave Casper, where's that play? Green Bay should have ran that. They just scored. But why did they give up 27 to the Giants without a quarterback? Just amazing. So, again, Green Bay and the Giants, who thinks that Green Bay is this bad, and who thinks the Giants are that bad? So you end up with Green Bay and the Giants. You just don't know who's what. And you think Green Bay is Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, and they're not that good. So this is the problem with the league. KC should have killed Oakland, but they don't. Why? Because their defense sucks. So we'll get into that when we get down to that game. Anyway, this is what I was leery about with Green Bay. You got to travel to London. You get your schedule all thrown out because you're not traveling. Let's say they travel Friday night for the Sunday games. They got to travel probably Wednesday night for the London game and then get used to this long flight and time zone. It's really a stupid idea to play the game in London. I think it should be a Monday night game, and the team should have buys after. But this is just stupid. So Green Bay loses, kind of surprising, but not really. Just because the game was in London. And Green Bay, I don't know how good they are. Their coach I hate. Aaron Rodgers is all they got. They don't give him receivers. The running backs are good, but he doesn't use them. Their defense, which should be good, is not. They don't blitz enough. When you play a team like the Giants, you got to have 7-8 guys blitzing every play because all they're going to do is run the ball or the quarterback's going to run. Let him just play. You got to play man. You got to play a zone because he's going to run on you. I mean, it's just pathetic coaching, which is par for this league. New England 3 over Detroit, over under 46. I got over circled, but it's the Lions, so I won't play the game. I can't trust Zappy yet. Now, both teams, Detroit's an over team with a bad defense. New England is a bad offensive team with a bad defense. But it's revenge for Patricia. And he shuts him out, 29-0. He knew how to beat the Lions, and he did. And, because it's Zappy's really his second game, it's hard to bet on him, but I know he's a good quarterback. I like him a lot. I think he'll be very good. I think he's much better than Jones, their starter. And when they come back, they should just keep going with Zappy. You watch. They're going to win every game with Zappy. So 29-0. And now Detroit's like, well, we don't have a defense, but at least we have an offense. Now we don't have an offense or a defense. They could be a Z team, but they score too much to be a Z team. So against weaker teams, they're going to score and still have no defense. How do you give up 29 to Zappy in his first start? I mean, that's ridiculous. So is New England that good? They're better with Zappy. Their defense isn't that good. They were an over defense, but Detroit will make you better real quickly. Pitt and Buffalo. Buffalo laying 14 over under of 45. Pitt is an under team with a very weak deep. They're kind of I think they're becoming a Z team. They have no offense. Pickett throws too many interceptions. Doesn't know what he's doing. He's totally not ready for. I don't think he's a pro. And their defense is weak because T.J. Watt's out, but that shouldn't be that weak. Buffalo, we know they're the A team, strong offense, strong defense. Problem is they're laying 14. What do you do with it? You can't really go over because Pitt doesn't score for you. So the logical play would have been Buffalo had it been a normal line. But what do you do with 14? So yeah, if you played 14, you won, but it's really hard to play 14. They win 38-3. I don't think I was going to say Jim Kelly. I don't think Allen played the second half. He torched Pitt. Pitt's pathetic, basically. They look like crap. Again, Buffalo looks better than they are, but they look good, 38-3. And they blow them out. And that's kind of what you would have thought, but it's hard to lay the 14. So I don't apologize for not taking Buffalo because of the 14. That time it worked. A lot of times in the pros, it won't work. I mean, they pulled Allen. He didn't play the second half. So let's say they're up 10, you don't cover. Houston, Jacksonville. This was I middle half of it. So I had Jacksonville was 6.5, 43.5. I like the game under, and I like Jacksonville. Bet against Houston, 13-2 as a road dog, was the only trend that lost this week. So betting against Green Bay won, taking Indy as the dog won. Betting against Houston as a road dog should have won, but Trevor Lawrence played Trevor Lawrence ball, which was a lot of turnovers. Turns the ball over 6-6. You're at the 5-yard line and you throw like a terrible it wasn't even a close interception. You didn't even see the guy. You just threw it right to the guy and the guy intercepts it. What are you doing? Not understanding the situation. Probably should have been running the ball. I noticed Trevor Lawrence doesn't like to run. He just likes to throw a lot of intercept. He dances around and throws 5-yard passes. He's terrible. And the lesson learned is you can't rely on Trevor Lawrence to win you. He's terrible. So, yes, they have a good defense. I had them as an A because they were scoring points. I go, oh, well, they're going to score. They're going to win. They're going to shut down Houston. But they're not scoring. So you don't know what you're getting from them. So I think they're back to probably an under team. Maybe they're a B team, but they just don't score. How do you score 6 at home against Houston? Like, are you kidding me? San Diego put up 34 at Houston last week, so you get 6. So, again, the betting on Jacksonville was ridiculous, how they don't score on Houston, but the under's there. So keeping Jacksonville under is probably the better bet than trying to pick Jacksonville. I had them under against Philly and won. This should have been an under 2 against Houston. Figuring Houston's not going to score, and then Houston scores with a minute left and wins 13-6. I mean, just, are you kidding me? I thought the new coach was so good and score all these points. Yeah, he's clueless too. Atlanta, Tampa, that was our big lock. 8.5, I got it in. It goes up to 10. They win 21-15. They're up 21-0. Atlanta scores 2 late touchdowns without Patterson. That was the whole point of the lock, was Patterson was out. So it's an easy winner. Over under 46. Tampa's got a really good defense. So I liked they're an under, but Atlanta is an over team. So I thought, well, Tampa's going to score and Atlanta won't. That was the point of the bet. So I was surprised that I saw the final 21-15, that it even got that close. I think it's the refs are really, really cheating this year. In the Kansas City game yesterday, the guy sacks he steals the ball from the quarterback and they call roughing the passer. I'm like, are you out of your mind? What did he do? He tackled the guy. He stole the ball and tackled the guy. And I guess because he landed on him, stealing the ball, the ref calls. It's too many stupid calls by the refs. These pass interferences are ridiculous. The holdings at the wrong time and the stupid roughing the passer, it's so hard to watch. College is such a better sport. And the refs cheat so bad in pros, it's so obvious that they're cheating. They wanted Oakland to cover yesterday, and that's what they got. Oh, wait, there's holding. I mean, there was like a 3rd and 15, and Carr just throws the ball up. It's out of bounds, and it's not. The guy falls down. They call interference. You're like, why are you bailing him out? The ball wasn't even in play. The guy falls down and you're bailing him out. It's so bad, the reffing. All right, Seattle, New Orleans. New Orleans laying 5.5. I took Seattle plus 11.5. That's a winner. 39-32. I got both teams as over. I also like the over in the game, but I like Seattle more. They're an over team. They score a lot. They have no defense. New Orleans doesn't score that much, but has an over defense. So it became an easy over or an easy dog, and I took the dog. Again, I like Andy Dalton. Didn't hurt yet, 39 points. I heard Taysom Hill had a big game. Seattle is a road dog, 25-3, now 26-3. So Seattle's keeping to their trends. Even with Geno Smith, they're scoring. Coach Pete knows he's got it. They're looking very good. So Seattle, now that can score without Russell Wilson, they're laughing their ass off because they got rid of Russell Wilson, who apparently put on a bunch of weight. They got Geno Smith, and even Locke's not bad, but they've got Metcalf and Lockett is the key. And then my Michigan State guy, Walker, played apparently, had a good run. And their defense sucks because they got rid of Richard Sherman and they got rid of all their linebackers and never replaced the Legion of Boom, which they won a Super Bowl with. So maybe you need defense to win. Does that ring a bell? So look for them to be an over team this year, Seattle. San Diego, Cleveland, same thing. San Diego lane 2. Play against San Diego, 45-8 now, as a road favorite, 11-2 now. So San Diego plays close games every freaking week, 30-28. You could have teased Cleveland down. I think I took the over in this game, over 41, and San Diego almost gets there by themselves, 30-20. This was a very easy over. Probably should have been the lock as opposed to the Kansas City -1 lock. But that was good. So Cleveland plays over games. San Diego without Boza is going to play over games. Chicago Mini. How does Chicago score 22 points? I don't know. Mini lane 7.5, 44.5. It's funny, it went over. So it was like a 42, goes to 43, then goes to 44. Who's betting this game over? And yet it goes over. 29-22 Mini. Mini -1.5. Really had no trend. Both teams are under teams. Chicago doesn't score, I guess, a good defense. Mini doesn't score, I guess, a good defense. But it's not evident here. And here's where the stats for my analysis aren't quite yet fully cooked because of week 1 and week 2 bullshit. So it makes it where you're not really looking, you still got that skewed in, but it's pros, so it's okay. But the week 1 and week 2, they'll eventually get blended as we get more. So now we got 5 weeks. I haven't pulled the stats yet. And then we'll do some changing on the teams. So the question is Mini really an under? Is Green Bay really an under? I mean, that's where I'm kind of going, no, I don't think so. Chicago, I think, really is. But again, look at Mini. They gave up 22 to the Bears. I mean, Fields can't throw. So what the hell is going on? And again, so it doesn't go. So, I had a feeling not to go under here. I was asked about Mini -1. Yeah, they did win. But again, I don't trust them. They give up 22 to the field, so I can't trust that. Anyway, so it just shows you, just because teams are under, don't always go under with them. Tennessee, Washington. This game, for a moment, Washington was favored by 1. I made the bet, but I couldn't put it on the site. It was like 12:30, so I can't. When I see that, I can't put it on the site. It's not enough time for my friends to see it and bet it. So therefore, I can't cite it, but I did see it getting 1, and I love Tennessee as the dog here. Now Tennessee, I guess let's call them a 1-point favorite. They cover 21-17. They've been on a roll lately, winning the last 3. I have them with a weak offense. And I have them with an over. So both these teams are W's. They don't score a lot, and their defenses are pretty weak. Now, Tennessee's is because of the Buffalo game. So that really skews their defense, where Washington just, they lose to Philly, they lose to Dallas. They've been playing some tough teams, tough defense. But here they only score 17 on a weak defense. So Washington's really weak. Wentz sucks. We all know that. I love that. He sucks at Philly. They get rid of him. Indy picks him up. He sucks there. So what does Washington do? Well, he'll be better on our team. Okay, that's why you fire the coach and the GM for thinking this guy's that good when you could have drafted Zappe. This is the part I don't understand. You could have drafted Zappe. If you watched him at Western Kentucky, puts up 50 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But no, I'll go with Wentz because I know he sucks. I mean, it's risk and reward. What is my risk of drafting Zappe, who I can see is a big-time player? He won't work out. So if I pick up Wentz, we know he won't work out. Zappe might work out. He knows how to throw. He did it well in college. And that's really where my point is like, what the hell are you doing? And they always go to the guy, well, he's got experience. Big deal. He sucks. I don't want a guy with experience who sucks. I want a guy who doesn't have, if he's not good, to get a guy who's good. Hey, Don. I won big with Navy money line last week. Very good. Navy is starting to play better. They've been playing kind of weak. They haven't been really scoring, but they did play Air Force nice. And good for you. I was surprised by that score. I mean, they put up 50 points. Very impressive. So maybe Navy's getting better, but good pick with that one. Did you have the UCLA Utah over? That's the one that should have stood out to you very easily. That over. All right. So Miami and the Jets. So we know Tagovailoa is out. There's Bridgewater, which I think he gets hurt in the game because I thought I saw a third quarterback. I think he only threw one pass. So Miami now laying 3.5. The Jets score 40 points. The Jets are a W team, but they got Zach Wilson back, and apparently now he knows what he's doing. I don't know. Their defense still is an over. Now here's where the stats kind of get skewed because, well, that's good. I think they were definitely an over. Well, I think with Wilson, they came back against a weak Pitt team, and now they beat Miami, who is not really that strong defensively. It's been Hill and Waddle that's been carrying them, but without a quarterback, they're useless. But the Jets put up a 40. He's very, okay, maybe they're now getting better. I'd like to think so. I mean, I like Zach Wilson. I thought that was a good pick. So they win 40-17, a home dog. Miami's not much of a road favorite. The Jets aren't much of a play. Both teams were over defenses, so both defenses were terrible. So I have the over circle, but I don't play it over 45, and the Jets get the over 45 all by themselves because in a teaser it's 39. So now, was there a lot of turnovers, pick sixes that created the 40? I don't think the Jets, drove down the field 6 times and got touchdowns. That generally doesn't happen. KC did it last night, but generally it's the turnover, it's a pick six, it's a punt return. It's something that gets you quick points. The Niners, Carolina, the Niners laying 6.5, over under of 39-40. It ends up 52 because Carolina on 4th and 10 with 4 minutes left in the game at their own 10-yard line decided to go for it instead of punting. If they punt, the Niners just get a couple of first downs, more than likely run out the clock, more than likely the under wins, but that's not what happened. Both teams are under teams. They don't score. They have good defenses. Carolina, I'm shocked, got 15 on them, and I'm not shocked the Niners got 30. Well, I'm a little shocked they got 37, but the last touchdown, so it really was 30-15 because the last touchdown, they got the ball at the 5-yard line. So that's not the Niners running. I was hoping if there was less time, they would have just taken 4 knees, which I was hoping for, but there was like 4 minutes left when Carolina does that. But that's why the coach is out of a job. So, no, normally the Niners are a good under team. Are they an A team? Well, they killed the Rams. Now they killed Carolina. Are they instead of going under with them, are we just taking the Niners? And that's where it starts like we did with Jacksonville. We said they're an under team. Oh, wait, look, they're scoring a lot. Now they're an A team because they score a lot and the defense, but tricked us. And then they put up a 6 on Houston. So now they're back to let's just make them an under team. The Niners are an under team, but now are they scoring more and are they an A team? They look very, very strong again against Carolina, but everybody does. They look strong against the Rams, but Dallas killed the Rams too. So it depends. We got to see them against Tampa and Green Bay, the better teams, how they play. Now, if Frisco plays Dallas, that's a lock under, I guarantee it, as long as it's over 40. So we got to determine what are we doing with the Niners. are they just, in other words, there we could have just locked them even instead of locking them under, and we easily win. So I don't know. I have to see about that. Obviously, Carolina's a terrible team. So we got to see about that too. Dallas and the Rams. The Rams were minus 5.5, 44 down to 42. I asked the question during the show, why is the Rams favored? And I was damn serious and damn accurate. Dallas kills them 22-10. I'm sure they sacked Stafford at least 3 times, and he's probably just went back to pass and fell down. That's what he does when the pressure's on him. That's why I was surprised in the Super Bowl that Cincinnati didn't blitz him all day, because if you blitz Stafford, he cries. He just, goes down. He doesn't want to get hurt. So Dallas wins easy, 22-10. Lock under 50. Now, that's what I was expecting the score of the Niner game to be, was, 30-10 at the most, and not even that. That's why I like locking the higher over-unders. So in other words, I like the Dallas one more because it was 44. I went under 50, so it gave me room where Carolina was 39.5, 40. So, or the Niners. So not as much room. And as you can see, just because they're under teams, they can score. So Dallas comes through and they're under. They look very strong. Just keep if you keep Cooper Rush as your quarterback, you're going to keep winning. The only team that can beat them is the Niners with that defense. But again, it's back to Dallas and Frisco. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice against Emmett and Aikman. Again, it just keeps coming back and coming back. LA, just what can we say about them? They're just Super Bowl hangover. They weren't really that good last year. They just kind of fell to the Super Bowl team because they were playing at home, and the Niners dropped the interception. If the Niners just catch the interception, it's all over. Hey, Nick. Good one. Yeah, right before the game, I thought to myself, I should have 2, and sure enough, it hits. Yeah, I had another friend. We bet together, and he asked me about the over and KC -1. I says, yeah. So I got 2 bets with KC -1 that are pushed. I'm so pissed off about that. But yeah, looking at it, the lot probably should have been over. Obviously, it was high, but both teams don't have a defense. Because I'm wondering, why didn't Kansas City? What the hell did they do? But what did you think of KC going for 2 with a 7-point lead? Why didn't they just kick the extra point, get up 8? And we would have won by 2. And, it's like, what the fuck are they going for 2 for with a 7-point lead? I've never seen that before. If it was 6, I could understand it, but a 7-point lead, just kick the extra point. You're up 8. You can't lose. It was incredibly bad coaching. Anyway, Philly 5.5 against Arizona 48.5. Philly, everybody thinks they're the greatest team in the world. I don't know. Arizona, I warned you, play against home dog 10-1. Now they're 11-1. They cannot win at home as a dog, and they are great on the road as a dog. So all you figure is, where's Arizona playing? At home, bet against. On the road, take them. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but that's how they are. They win at Oakland, and then they lose at home to Philly. So Philly, now we have them as an A team, barely beat Arizona. Arizona's an over team. They score but have no defense. Philly with a good defense. So it's a lower scoring game than I would have thought on Philly, and they were up 14-0. So what happened there, right? You got 14 and you end up with 20. And I see that a lot, where there's a big first half and nothing in the second half. And you don't understand. Push still wins the first leg at Caesars. No biggie, better than a lot. Oh, well, that's great. Yeah, I noticed there's some that ties win. I mean, I've done that at Caesars in Vegas. It's a ties win card. If you bet it with the sports book, it's a push. There's no loss. If it's a 4-team teaser, it becomes a 3-team teaser. But if you bet the card ties win, then it's a like you said, it's a win. So I'm glad you got the win with it, but they should have won. They should have just kicked the extra point, won by 2, and not, shouldn't have been a problem. So anyway, Philly, what do we have there? So against Arizona, maybe Arizona sees their running quarterback in practice, knows how to defend it, but pretty close game here. We'll see what happens. Were they looking ahead to Dallas? I don't know. Do pro teams do that? Are they looking ahead to Dallas? Maybe the Oakland Pitt 70 teams would look ahead, and Oakland would see Pitt and want revenge through the Immaculate Reception, which they got the next year, but nobody talks about. They killed them like 30, but it was like a regular season game, and they killed them. But they couldn't beat them in the playoffs. Put boss laugh when I asked. Oh, the pit boss. Are you in Vegas now? No more teaser. Well, if teasers is such a bad bet as everybody tries to tell me, why would they cancel them? Seriously, Caesars doesn't have teaser cards anymore. Wow. Well, maybe you can do that. Anyway, Nick, you missed the beginning of the show. I bought this today. It's a 10-ounce silver. It says 999 silver, and it's got the certificate on the back. So he didn't have any silver coins except for the Eagles for 35. Oh, local casino in Pennsylvania. Okay. He didn't. All he had was some Eagles for 35, which he didn't have. He had a 20 plastic. Nothing on display. No Buffaloes or anything else. So he's selling these as his only mean of silver. He says it's a 4-week hold to get new ones. I says you'll never get them because the mints are not making them, and all the central banks are buying it. This is it's getting out, and it's going to be expensive. So get whatever you can now, because the shit's about to hit the fan, and that's it. Call my guy up. He had about 10 of these. So call my guy and get, the shipping's cheap enough. This was $23.50 an ounce. I paid $2.35 for this. The Eagles are 35 an ounce. This is 23, and you can see. I mean, it's pure silver certificate. It's coated. It's marked. So if you want, well, here, let me give you the number. But he's got them. Just mention my name, and shipping's like $15 FedEx second day. So please feel free. Call him up. He's got some, but he's not getting, he said it's 4 weeks till he gets the rounds in. And I doubt 4 weeks, but all the central banks are buying it. So I just don't see it. Yeah, no problem. Well, I'm here for you guys. I'm the professor. So I'm telling you all this. I don't get anything out of it, but helping you, right? I don't sell silver. I'm not affiliated with the store in any way. And the guy thinks I'm doing it for him. So it's like, he thinks, oh, thanks for helping us. And I'm like, no, I'm not helping you. I'm helping the Teaserking family. That's what I'm doing it for, is for you guys. So you have a place not only to educate you on gold and silver, but where to buy it at a good price. So again, I don't know if you bought from him before, but he's got I think he had about 6 of these. And since they're 10 ounces, they don't sell like the coins. He had some Canadian ones, which I don't see my Canadian friend on it, on here. He had, these are Queen Elizabeth Canadian. It says 1812 to 2012. There's some like our 1776, 1976 quarters, and they're 3/4 ounce silver, which is fine. I don't care if it's an ounce. And he had like 15 of them, but he said they're spot, not in mint condition. But do we really care? I'm buying this. I don't care the condition. I bought 10 ounces of silver that says 999 on them, and it's serial numbered. I'm not worried about it, but he said they were spotted. So I didn't get it because it didn't look pretty. I bought the 2 Maple Leafs, the 1 ounce golds. They're $100 less than this freaking Eagles, which I don't understand. The Eagles are at $18.90, and I paid $17.90 for the Maple Leafs. Well, why would you be $100? Gold's gold. It doesn't freaking matter. I just don't understand the guy. So he does have 1 Maple Leaf left, Nick, and somebody when I was there bought the 3 Eagles. So all he's got left are 3 Buffalo dollar gold ounce Buffaloes, which I don't know. and one Maple Leaf left. So he always tends to have a few. So even when he's sold out, he mysteriously gets 4 or 5 in. He's got a few stores. And anyway, so we'll get back to this in a minute. So again, how strong's Philly? They win 20-17, which, they can't blow out every week. And I think it's the teams that can handle Hurts running, because Hurts can't pass. That's probably the 20s, about what they do. If you put pressure on Hurts, that's about what you get from Philadelphia. So if they play a good defense, and we got Dallas coming up, then we'll really see what's going on. Cincy, Baltimore, have that. That was our free play here. Baltimore -3. Why were they favored? Had no idea. Baltimore play against as a home favorite is now 7-1. Cincy is a road dog now 21-4. This is a perfect Cincy road dog play against Baltimore at home. Watching the highlights of the game, all Jackson does is run. I mean, it was like the Giant game. The quarterback, he goes back, and to win the game, what did he do? He go back to pass. He ran around and with sweeps. What kind of quarterback play is that? This guy should be your running back, and you run the ball with him. But it's not football. I don't know what I'm watching anymore. So Baltimore wins 19-17 late because Cincinnati has the ball, 4th and goal at the 1 or 2. Kick the field goal. No, we're going to go for it. They try a shuttle pass. Now, I got to blame Burrow on this, or the coach, for not allowing him to audible out. There was clearly the play was not going to work. So it's 4th and 2 at the 2. Burrow has the ball, doesn't call an audible. Where's Chase? I would have rather seen him give the ball to Chase, let him run around the end and cut in whenever there's room because he's so fast. Goes back. He's going to shuttle it. He pushes it forward. There's 5 guys there. The guy doesn't even catch the ball. Terrible play call. And the fact he didn't audible out of it. So Burrow should have saw the defense that this play is not going to work. But before that, I would have kicked the field goal. As it turns out, it cost them the game. But I think the score was, 10-10, and it was 13-10. I think it was 13-10. So I would have tied the game up. What are you doing, man? Again, why? I don't get what's so bad about tying the game up. And that leads me into Oakland. So anyway, Cincy, very strong defense. Burrow and Chase. So you can just bet them. They're clearly an A or B team right now. Scoring 17 at Baltimore is a little bit low. Like I said, they should have had at least 20. And then they're still playing very strong defense under. So they're a very strong defensive team. And it shows. And then we get to Oakland, KC. Again, what the fuck's going on in this game? I couldn't believe what I was watching. The refs are horrible. Oh, it's pass interference. Oh, roughing the quarterback. Jesus Christ. What are you guys? So you can't tackle? The guy steals the ball from the quarterback, and they call him for roughing the passer. Why, he took the ball too hard? I mean, oh, my God. And all the bailout passes that are out of bounds, but they call interference because the guy flops. I mean, it's just pathetic. So the question is, again, KC, you're up 23, you're up 30-23 near the end, and just kick the extra point. You're up 8. You can't lose. If they score and go for 2, they tie you. Then we go to overtime. You got Mahomes. What the fuck was Andy Reid thinking going for 2? What was the benefit? You go up 9, and now you win? Like, dude, if you're up 8, you win, right? They got to score, which they did, and get 2, which they're not, it's maybe 10% you're going to get the 2. So it just doesn't make any fucking sense that Andy Reid, here's where the analytics bullshit, dude, it's, I bet if you look at the analytics, it doesn't make sense. Oh, this is what the guy assumes. No, but look at the reality. It's probably 5% that these guys get the 2-pointer, right? KC didn't get it. Oakland needed the 2-pointer. They didn't get it. So where's your freaking odds? What, 10%? You go for 2, you're going to get it. So why go for 2 like it's a no-brainer? And how many extra points? Okay, maybe it's because you keep missing extra points because they moved it back to the 15-yard line and made it a 32-yard extra point, when the whole point of the extra point was it was a bonus for scoring the touchdowns. That's why they put it at the 2, and that's where it should be. It should be a bonus, not a 35-yard kick, which is maybe why they go for 2, is they think they're going to miss the extra point, which does get missed a lot, but the odds on hitting it are a lot better than going for 2. I mean, it's just, the odds on going for 2 to win the game ain't never going to happen. Yeah, kind of sick of watching football with all these calls and rules. Truly getting painful to watch. I'll tell you, Dick, I just watched the highlights, but now I'm getting sick of YouTube because they have so many commercials. I mean, it's a 10-minute video, and it's you start with a commercial, and now they're coming out with these 15-second commercials that you can't click off of the 5-second. And then a minute in, there's more commercials. You're like, what the fuck? And then every 4 or 5 minutes, I try to watch these gold shows, and it's a 45-minute show, and it's just like every 5 minutes there's commercials. I don't get it. I mean, does YouTube think that's how we're going to make money, is selling commercials, and then nobody's going to watch? Or are they trying to draw us into this $11 for no commercial? So I think that's what they're trying to do, is get us all to buy the $11 so you don't have the commercials. And I don't know what to do with that. There's too much I watch on it that I'm not quite sure what to do. Although some shows like mine, I'm opposed to the commercials. I have that option. I do not check it. I do not want to interfere. So I don't know when I do this, like we're on an hour now, when you watch it back, if it keeps getting interrupted with commercials. I don't think so, because I haven't signed up for it. That's not what it's about. I'm here to teach you, and it's very hard to learn if you keep getting interrupted by commercials. It's just, and where they put them at, oh, it's 4th and 1, hike, commercial. You're like, are you fucking serious? You don't even know where you're putting your commercials? At least if you watch regular TV, there's a point, okay, and now we go to commercial. Okay, fine, but not in the middle of a field goal, right? Here's the hike, commercial. You're like, are you fucking kidding me? So I don't know if they're doing that on purpose or it's just a timer where every 5 minutes they do commercials, but it's really irritating. So again, KC should have won by 2. The line was 7. When you really analyze the game, this was skewed way too much by the Tampa Bay game, because they killed Tampa and they lost to Indy. You thought, oh, okay. And they've blown out Oakland. The last 4 games, they blow them out. They're not close. So this was a very strange thing that it got close, that Oakland comes to play but loses to Arizona. Again, this is what I don't understand about the league. How does KC lose to Indy, go and kill Tampa, and then if Oakland converts the 2-point conversion, wins? I mean, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me that these teams are so good and so bad. It's terrible coaching, for one thing. It's the coach's job to do it. Anyway, so that was the week. So the locks, with Nick's help, will go 3-1 instead of 2-1-1. KC, Tampa, the under in the Niner, and the under in Dallas. And I tell you, the Niner game I love the most. I can't believe that game went over. I'm okay. Well, the Niners really should have scored 30 if Carolina just punts. Who goes for it on their own 10-yard line? Are you kidding me? And then that was it. Dallas really looked strong, killing the Rams. So in my normal play against, Minnesota wins, Philly wins, Cincy wins, Tampa wins, Buffalo wins, Green Bay and Miami lose. Miami loses the second string quarterback, so that makes sense. On the play against side, these are teams that are like 80% overall in the teaser. If you played against, San Diego win, Jacksonville win, Cleveland win, Baltimore win, Washington win, Atlanta win, Minnesota win, Detroit win. The only 2 losers were Houston and the Jets. So the Jets were out of character, not betting against, but let's just say Miami, their quarterback, I believe he got hurt. Bridgewater right away. So they're on their third string quarterback, which now you have to understand, well, really, how good are the Jets then? They beat the third string quarterback. That'll skew the stats. So we really don't know the Jets, what happened. I got to watch the game, but that's where now it's pro. It's not like college where they beat, the house of the poor 75-0, and it skews their stats up. So that's what we got. So a quick look ahead to next week. So if I look at it, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, 8-2. Not a bad week. 8-2. So I'm starting to get the handle of the pros. So my losers were San Francisco under, and Jacksonville that, and then Green Bay was a late one. So let's go 8-3. I was against Green Bay, but I think I played it late. So again, you've got to be careful. You're betting the brand Green Bay. You're betting Aaron Rodgers, but the coach sucks. The defense, they'd like never seen a running team before. Okay, so let's go to next week. We'll do a real quick look. Now, I haven't put in the stats from this week, so that'll go up. Probably not change too much the over-unders, things like that. And then I got to update the teaser, how they did in a teaser. That seems to work good in pros. College, it's too many. I don't even try it anymore. I don't need it. In college, I figured it out. So, another 16-2, 3-0 on the locks. I got to add up my locks. I'm probably like 20-3 on my lock. Maybe more, like 20, 21-3. There was a few years ago when Carolina went to the Super Bowl. 9 weeks in a row, I hit 5 locks every week. So it was like 5 locks, I'll win. 5 locks out for 9 weeks. It was unbelievable. And the games were so easy. It was just like, UCLA, Utah over. Oh, okay. And it would come in. And I got so hot. So I get that way where I become unconscious and just, it's like the Matrix. I can see the winners and I pick them. So let's look at next week. We're going to do it Teaserking way. This is how the professor picks. So Washington plays Chicago. Give me a score. Who do you think? I think it's a dog. How can Chicago be favored? How can Washington? I like the dog in the game. Now I'm going to put in my line. I put the Bears -3 because they're at home. The real line is Washington -0.5. I have the Bears -3. They got Washington. How is Washington a road favorite? Even against the Bears put up 22 in Minnesota. They beat Houston the week before, or it was 22-20. Yeah, I think they beat Houston at home. I don't see how Washington's favored. So I've already established that it's a dog. I've already established the Bears should be favored. Then the real line comes out. It's a 0.5 point. I'm going, well, this is an under game, and or it's a tease the dog game. And this looks like maybe it's a dog because it's Thursday night. So, if I can get the Bears at more than 7, it's a better bet. 6.5. Although the way they don't go for 2-point conversions and 2 points, and I don't know how to factor in 2-point conversions and fourth down inefficiency. Look at the Lions, 0 for 6 on fourth downs. Are you shitting me? Okay, you're Bill Parcells. Do you think he went for fourth downs 6 times in a year in his 10 years of coaching? I got Lawrence Taylor. I'm never going for it on fourth down unless it's I need it to win the game, fourth down. In the second quarter at their own 50, he's punting and saying, okay, Lawrence Taylor, get me the ball back. Who does this? Who 6 times? And he didn't convert 1. And he doesn't quite get it. It jacks up the other team. They get emotional. It's a disrespect. You think you can get 2 yards on us on fourth down, and then it's the emotional lift the team gets from stopping you and the emotional flat you get because you just fucked your own team. the coaches don't seem to add that in the analytics. They don't seem to quite get that. Anyway, so that's first game, Thursday night. Over under 38. Maybe you go under. I don't know. The Bears against Minnie went to 49. So you can't just play. That's the problem with the unders. 38, such a low one. Who knows? Wentz sucks. Field sucks. You don't even have professional quarterbacks out here. So it's just so bad, the product, that this should be an easy pick. It's now like, I don't know. How do I trust there? And maybe the under. All right, Jacksonville, Indy. Who do you like? I like the dog. I think Indy will be a 3-point favorite at home, and Indy's a 3-point favorite at home. Over under 42. Well, I just learned my lesson about trusting Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville putting up a whole 6 points on the strong Houston team. So the over-under is 42. So I immediately go, oh, it looks like an under. They beat them 24-0 already. So, that's where this goes, where, okay, which Trevor Lawrence shows up. Now, apparently in the Philly game, he lost 5 fumbles. They're coming in, and he doesn't even throw the interception. They're just blitzing him, and he doesn't protect the ball 5 times. No wonder the game went over. So you got to factor in that he's good for the other team and not even good for your team. So you got to factor that in. Indy doesn't score. Jacksonville, they're both under teams. This is under all the way. The Niners in Atlanta. Now I got to think. Atlanta's been covering. They almost beat Tampa on a back against the wall game for Tampa. At Tampa, Tampa blows them out. They don't have Patterson, and they only lose by 6, and you're like, what the hell? How did that happen? Mariota just wants to run. He can't throw. I think he threw for 100 yards. Why he's even in the league is beyond me. So I think you got Frisco -7. I think you think Frisco should win. And here's where the argument comes in. Are they an A team or an under team? If they're an A team, we tease them to 1. If they're an under team, we look under. But we have Atlanta, who is a good over team and a good but without Patterson. The over-under on the game's 43.5, and the line is only 4.5, not 7. Is 49 now? 49ers played at Carolina are not going to fly back to Frisco to fly back to Atlanta, the coast to coast to coast to coast. They're staying, I think, in Ohio. I heard, or North Carolina, something like. I think they stay in Ohio, so they're not flying all the way back coast to coast twice. So they're going to be in Ohio and then go to Atlanta. So they should be pretty well rested. Although, is it really hard to stay in a nice hotel? I don't think so. So I don't know. Will the Niners be tired? Will Atlanta be able to find a way to score? I think the Niners win the game, and under is the most logical. What does Atlanta have that they're going to beat this defense? And then is the Niners going to be good enough to win, or just keep game low scoring again? And you know what happens. We lost the lock with the Niners under. The under is going to win this week because we're not going to want to play it and get burned by them again, but we will anyway. Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh at Pitt. Pitt, weak team. Trubisky's not playing. Pickett throws so many interceptions. What's your line? Now, New England barely beat Atlanta. New England needs receivers because Julio Jones is doing his little act. Now he's hurt again. How he played at Alabama is beyond me because he kind of never plays. Evans and Godwin played, I guess. I don't know what happened in the second half that they stopped scoring. They're up 13-0, and they went for it on 4th and goal at the 2 and didn't make it in the first quarter. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Kick your field goal. I don't understand these teams. You got the ball at the 2-yard line. It's the hardest place to get 2 yards is at the goal line because there's no room to throw. What are you fucking doing? Kick your field goal. There's nothing wrong with kicking field goals and getting points. So, again, I just don't understand these coaches, why they think every 4th down you're supposed to go for it. And you all make it, which you probably make 10% of them. So I figured Tampa Bay by 10 because Pickett looks bad, needs to get flavor of it, and their defense, they are now an over defense. Real line comes out at 8-44. I can't really go over because Tampa really doesn't score. They scored 21 on Atlanta, who's not really good. Pitt has no real offense with Pickett, and their defense is getting weaker. So Brady should pick them apart. They still have lost 2 in a row, and then they finally won. So they still are coming off of 2 losses. So Tampa really needs the game. Laying the 8, I can see taking that down to 2. About 44. I don't know what you do. I mean, you go under with Tampa with Brady, or if Pitt's that bad, just take Tampa. So that's another. Pretty much I'm online. New England and Cleveland, tease the dog. New England's showing with Zappy. They can score. They played good. Now you got to ignore Detroit because they're so out-coached in that game. It was ridiculous. Cleveland beat San Diego, or did they lose to San Diego? No, they lost to San Diego by 2. They're at home. They're going to score points. This should be a little higher scoring. I like the dog in the game. I figure Cleveland -3 at home. That's actually the line is 3 and 42.5. Both teams have weak defenses. Cleveland very good with Chubb. See, if you run the ball, you're going to do better. And now New England with Zappy are not like a W team. I have them as a W team, but they'll probably go up with Zappy now. So I think this is an over game. Do I take New England in 9? Maybe. I mean, with Zappy, I think you can trust him. Even though he did good in Green Bay and then he kills Detroit, I think he's getting, what plays to call for him. He's getting more comfortable. He's a very good quarterback. So you might be able to take the 9, or Cleveland's an over team. Maybe you go over. It's only 42. Minnie in Miami. Who's the quarterback? So until we know the quarterback, it's hard to play the game. With Tagliavoa, this is a tease the dog. With whatchamacallit, Bridgewater, probably a tease the dog. We got to see the quarterback. So until I know the quarterback, I can't really play it. The line is Minnie -3 and 46. I have no idea what to do until I see Bridgewater's. I don't trust Minnesota. God, Kirk Cousins, they'll throw 5 picks. I mean, you just don't know what you're getting. The Jets in Green Bay. Now, Green Bay off the loss. The Jets putting up 100 on Miami. So what do we got here? I have, I think it's tease the dog, and I think the line's Green Bay -7. Green Bay's -7. The over-under is 46. How they lost to the Giants, I have no idea. They're going to be tired. This is extremely rude for Green Bay. You go play in London, and then, oh, by the way, you're playing at home the next week. Are you kidding me? The Green Bay is not going to be Green Bay. They're going to be real tired. You can't fly to Europe. I know, I've done it, and then come back. So we got Green Bay. Do I trust Green Bay -1? Well, we saw what happened with Green Bay -1 last week. Over under of 46. Green Bay, I don't know what their defense is. It was an under defense, holding Brady to 12, and then they allow 27 to the Giants without a quarterback. Badly coached team, bad defense. I don't think they're an under defense anymore. And then Wilson. So I could see this game going over. I could see taking the dog here. I don't know. Green Bay off of a loss. They're very good at home. I don't know. I'll dig into it more. Baltimore and the Giants. Giants are a pretty good team. Baltimore with thing. I think the line will be Baltimore -3, and I will tease the dog. The line's Baltimore -5 and 44, and I like the Giants in 11 here. First of all, Baltimore not going to blow them out. The Giants just beat Green Bay. They beat, they've been doing well considering they got Barkley back, and they seem to be able to be okay. So I don't have any doubts with Baltimore to win. I don't even know that they'll win. Over under 44, I guess you could go over. I don't know. I mean, they scored 27 on Green Bay. Baltimore holds Cincy to 20-19. Yeah, it's hard to say. Baltimore moved the ball, but don't score a lot. So I don't know. It's all Jackson running down the field until he throws an interception or fumbles. So we got to see. Cincinnati, New Orleans. My first thought is I like Cincinnati here. Now, New Orleans did put up a lot on Seattle with the weak defense. Did put up whatchamacallit, played the backup quarterback. Taysom Hill looked very good. Apparently, my friend from BYU, I got a friend in Florida from BYU, and he follows the BYU guys, and he said Taysom Hill looked really good, and I don't know why he's not starting, but I do like Andy Dalton, and then Dalton and Hill, they'll keep this game close. I have Cincinnati -7. It's -1.5. I can't believe this spread. How do you only make Cincinnati one? And now their defense is becoming very, very strong. New Orleans has a weak defense. I think Burrow has a big game. I think this game goes over, but I am a little bit afraid of Cincinnati's defense. But I think the trick plays and New Orleans seems to be scoring 44 over 38. Seems very doable. Carolina and the Rams. Carolina just sucks. The Rams, I think, backs against the wall now. They lost the last two to the Niners and Dallas, two very good defenses. Well, Carolina comes in without a very good defense. I look for the Rams back against the wall in this game. I think they're 10-point favorites, and that's exactly what they are, is 10-point favorites. Over under a 41. Back against the wall. So they've been stinking up the place, and here comes Carolina. I think Mayfield's out. The coach is gone. He sucked. I don't understand. He wasn't bad, I think, at Baylor, and he wasn't bad at Temple. And it just goes to show you they're probably not bad coaches, but the GMs give them such shitty quarterbacks. I mean, he had no quarterback. He had Sam Darnold, and he had some crap before that. And then here comes Baker Mayfield, who's injured. And so it's just very hard to get a good, you're kind of trapped, right? If I'm a quarterback, I can get a better quarterback in college than I can in the pros half the time. So I don't know what to do. That's the real reason our Alabama guy, Nick Saban, coaching Atlanta, he quit because he wanted Drew Brees, and they didn't get him Drew Brees because he knew he couldn't win with the garbage he had, and he had much better quarterbacks at LSU at the time when he was LSU's coach. So he goes to Atlanta. He has a shitty quarterback, doesn't get Drew Brees, and he quits because he says, I can't win with this crap, and I don't want to look bad. So he goes back to Alabama where he's got a good system. Now, maybe if you put in this Alabama system in the pros, it might work, but I doubt it because it's relying on speed, and in the pros, you're not between the pass rush and the secondary. You're not going to do the Alabama or Ohio State offenses. Look at Urban Meyer; he didn't run the Ohio State offense. I don't know why. I think it might have worked here, but he didn't run it. But you wonder why. So that's that story. Arizona, Seattle. In Seattle, Arizona, we know is a road dog. So we pray Arizona's a road dog here. I think Seattle's a 3-point favorite. Tease the dog. I got Arizona as a 3-point favorite, and I'm crying going, fuck, I wanted Arizona as the dog. That's what separates having a good week and a lock from not having the lock. If Seattle's a favorite, I might lock Arizona at 9, or I might go over. But you make Arizona favored, do I want Seattle in 9 as a home dog? Takes that Arizona 9 lock out of play. And that's what happens sometimes. The wrong team gets favored. There's no reason Arizona should be favored here, but they are by 3, over under a 51. Both are over teams. I think this is an over game. How do you take Seattle in 9 at home? But they're scoring. So I think this certainly is a high scoring game. Now, if you want to play around, I would never take Arizona +3. And then it's, do I take Seattle in 9 or go over? And that's really where the challenges are. what do you think of the teams, and then what do you think of the totals? And when you get two good offensive teams with two weak defenses, it's hard to bet. Like yesterday, the problem with taking Kansas City, their defense sucks. So they have a bad defense. They're not stopping Oakland. So Oakland's scoring. And now they're getting familiar. Carr and Adams played together at Fresno State are now, how many times did he throw to Adams, right? So he gets open, knows how to get open, learned that from Rodgers. So now you have that, but you don't have a defense in Kansas City to stop it. And that's really the mistake I made last night. Instead of locking the over, locking Kansas City because of they don't have the defense. It's hard to lock. It's hard to take a team without a defense to win. If you don't have a defense, you got to bet it over, especially against another over team. You can only bet a team like a Cincinnati. Tampa has a good defense. Dallas, Frisco. Teams with the good defenses will shut you down. It's like pitching in baseball. The pitcher will shut the hitter down. But if I don't have a good pitcher, I can't bet the team. I can only bet it over. And that's the thing here. Even though I got Brady, I can only bet him against a weak defense like Atlanta and Tampa's defense. And they still scored 15 without Patterson. It just shows you, but the best team looks like Dallas and Frisco. So in this game, I think you can go overs pretty good. And that. Now, this doesn't move like college. Oh, excuse me. In college, this over would be 56 by the end of the week. This will probably go to 52 and that about maybe 53, but we got to, again, check the injuries. Buffalo, Kansas City, in Kansas City. I got Kansas City as a 3-point favorite at home, and I'm thinking this is an over game. Buffalo is favored by 2.5. I don't know why. Over under a 53. You can have KC as a home dog, which you never get against Buffalo, or 53 over. And I think now maybe where you wanted Buffalo as a lock as a dog, so you don't get Buffalo as the dog, like you're not getting Arizona as the dog. Can you lock Kansas City? Kansas City, I think, is going to play like they did against Tampa, where they just lit it up. And then you think, was Kansas City down after beating Tampa with Buffalo coming? But against Oakland, they're not looking past Oakland for Buffalo. So this is the third hard game in a row for KC, right? You beat Tampa and you lose and then you beat Tampa and then you barely beat Oakland. Two big rival games for you. Now you got Buffalo, who is pissed off that they lost to you in the playoffs. Buffalo, as a dog, would maybe have been a lock. Now, do you lock Kansas City? I don't know. Buffalo is pretty pissed. I think the over is the only play here, unless you can take KC. But again, with their defense, Buffalo's got a strong defense. KC doesn't. Buffalo will light them up. KC, I'm worried about. So it's either, how do you take Buffalo as a road favorite in Kansas City? It's extremely difficult. And that leaves you with the over probably. So we got to see what happens here, but this looks like an over game. Dallas and Philly, this game, tease the dog. Strong defense in Dallas will shut down Philly. I'm praying I get Dallas as the dog. I'm assuming Philly by 3. Philly's -5. Are you shitting me? Wow. Over under 42. This is Dallas. This is under all the way. It's which one do I want? Because Dallas has been my under team the last 3 weeks. This is what the professor does better than anybody, is figuring out the teams. Every year, you have to look at the teams individually and figure them out. And that's what we're doing here. Yeah, kind of saying, okay. So I figured out since probably them and Frisco with the best 2 defenses. They're keeping the game under with Cooper Rush. They're playing low scoring, no turnovers, and winning. And the Niners are pretty much doing the same thing, although they got a little carried away yesterday with Carolina's ridiculously bad defense. As I'm thinking they're an under team because they're only allowing 18 points a game, and They didn't look like an under team. See, that's where I didn't fit the puzzle in with Carolina yet. Seeing that game, now I go, hey, Carolina's not an under team. And is Frisco an A team? And now you got the Dallas. So Philly -5. Unbelievable. I get Dallas in 11 over 42. I go under 48. I'm foaming at the mouth. I don't know which one to take. I don't know which one's better, but definitely in this game, it's going to be one or the other. And then the question is, do you play it with the Niners? Are the Niners under, or the Niners the Niners? And this is what you got to see. But my lock. But now I got to run around finding the second part of the lock because I can't post a one-team lock. Although I've thought about it, but how do you bet it? You can't bet one team. So then I'm scrambling for the second team, which is why I do college on Sunday, where I get the games and the teams in, and then I get all the stats and I mark it all overs and unders and who's what. And that's all done. So when I do get a good line, which I got and posted yesterday, and I told Nick and all the family who are with me already has that game and should have already bet it. It already moved 3 points from the time I saw it to that. Lucius, how do you like the under on the Cowboys game? Yeah, we're just talking about that, Lucius. Yeah. Are you talking last week or against Philly? I loved that was my lock last week, and against Philly, absolutely, because Philly's got a strong defense too. And believe me, Parsons will be all over Hurts. Hurts ain't going to run for 5 yards with Parsons. See, Dallas will be smart enough to blitz Parsons and take away Hurts. Hurts ain't going to beat you passing. And Dallas's defense is just going to suffocate. So now Philly's got a good defense too. So yeah, I think either or. Dallas in 11 is very strong, and the under is very strong. And again, you're looking for under teams against each other to go under, and over teams against over teams to go under. And the hard part is an over against an under, and then like Carolina, is Carolina really an under team? As we found out, their defense really sucks, and they're not really an under team. But we don't have enough information. We only have 4 weeks. Now we've got 5 weeks in the books. Now we're getting because you got to throw out week 1 and 2 because that's still preseason. So that's what you're looking at. And last but not least, the Denver-San Diego game. Tease the dog because we know how San Diego is. And I got San Diego laying 3 at home. Normally, if it's like an even game, the home team's 3-point favorites. I got San Diego -5 and 46. We all know bet against San Diego, and they never blow out. Denver, I hear Russell Wilson's overweight, and they don't really look all that good. So I don't know. Bosa's out. Keenan Allen, we got to see if he's coming back. We like Herbert, Eckert. I think San Diego's figured out we don't have Allen, and they're finding other receivers. This I got to look at head-to-head. I don't think it's that easy just to take San Diego because they don't want to win by a lot, and they don't know how to. I mean, beating Cleveland 30-28, they beat Houston by 10 on the road, and then they get home. You think, oh, they'll kill Denver, and then they lose. It's like Green Bay. You think they'll beat the Giants, and they lose. So it's really the one thing is there's very few A teams in the NFL right now, teams that you say are going to win. And there's very few Z teams that you say, these guys suck, I'm betting against, like we do in college, right? I'm taking Georgia, and they're going to kill whoever. And then there's Ohio State, and they're going to kill whoever. You don't have that you thought KC would have beat Oakland by more than 1. You thought Tampa would have beat Atlanta by more than 5. You'd have thought Green Bay would have beat the Giants. They barely won. Tampa, off of 2 losses in a row, beats Atlanta by 6 without Patterson. Are you serious? How can that be? Now, there are injuries to the wide receivers for Tampa. That's part of it. On here, somebody asked me about the Philly game. Yeah, under. Somebody asked me what's wrong with Georgia. Well, they got injuries to their offensive line. They're not running the ball the way they used to, which would control the clock, and the other team's getting some lucky scores. And you saw against Auburn, they got 10. So, usually it's injuries. Again, they don't have Gronk, Tampa. Julio Jones played one game, and that's it. That's all he'll play. I mean, he was a terrible pickup because he's always injured. Although this time it's not the hamstring, it's the knee, and he was probable. Then he went back to questionable, so you can't count on him. So Brady's really at a loss. He's got Evans and he's got Godwin, and he's throwing the ball to Fournette a lot, but they're not going to blow. It's not like Brady doesn't have anybody to throw to. So he needs to pick up by Antonio Brown or somebody. He needs to pick up a receiver. God knows there's so many free agents that play for Texas Tech or Oak State or Oklahoma or, UCLA. Like, dude, just get one of these guys that aren't drafted. They're obviously good. So that's what we got. So San Diego, Denver, I got to check into. San Diego is an over team. Denver's an under team. So what do you do with it? Is it going to be high or low scoring? You're not going to get a lot of points in Denver, but they got a good defense. But do they really have a good defense? So that's what I'm going to do now is check my stats and update my teams, over-unders and things like that. Again, the teams, now I haven't done my stats yet. We'll talk about that on Friday. So the play teams are Minnesota, Buffalo, Green Bay, Philly, Cincy, Tampa Bay, and Miami. But that's with Tug Tagliabue, who's out. Let's see if Bridgewater's playing. So we got to see that works if everybody's or mostly healthy. When you lose the core, if Brady's out or Manning's out or any, Drew Brees is out, you can't, then you got to throw it out because that's with them. The play against teams, though, San Diego, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Baltimore, Washington, Atlanta, Minnesota is like San Diego. They win close. Detroit, who's off, Houston, and the Jets. So Houston and the Jets won last week. They're the only two. Everybody else you bet against, you win. And the only team that you on the playlist that you lost was Green Bay. So again, that helps you going, well, let's see. Yeah, Buffalo, they always get, but they're at Kansas City. So it's a little bit different. So really the next thing you do is put in the score. So Washington, Chicago, 20-10. Jacksonville, Indy, 10-7. I mean, you predict the score, then everything else makes sense, right? What do I think the score is going to be? And most of the time you should be close. Okay, San Francisco, Carolina is not what I expected. Dallas, LA is. I even told you I didn't know why the Rams were favored, as they shouldn't have been. And, of course, what happens? Dallas wins. So pick your score will help you. Then you look at pick the score in KC Buffalo. I got 34-31. That's 67 or 65. And the over-under is 53. I'm going over. How are they going to stop them from scoring 34, from scoring in the 30s? KC, we know, ain't going to stop them. They couldn't stop Oakland. So Buffalo's in the 30s, maybe in the 40s. KC, you can't tell Buffalo from Pittsburgh. So you got to try to go back a few weeks to let's look at Buffalo week 4. And they are playing Baltimore, and they win 23-20. So Baltimore puts up a 20 on them because Lamar Jackson can't throw. Therefore, they get 20, but they get a 20-0 lead, and then Buffalo comes back. So against a good defense, they put up a 23. So Buffalo's going to score 35. Now we got Baltimore putting up 20. So Mahomes is going to be 27 or so. So that's what you look at. You look at other teams and you go, how did they do against them? And that helps you out. So really that's what you're looking to do is figure out the score or close. And then does the over-under make sense? So like with Iowa, every game's 10-0. So they're a perennial under, and they've been under every year or every week. Against Iowa State, they were an under. Against Michigan, they were under. Last week, we had them as an under against Illinois. They play a 9-6 game. with Illinois. They play a 10-7 game with Iowa State, and Michigan was really a 20-7 game. They scored with a minute left, 2 touchdowns, but basically it was a 20-7. That was your big score, 27 points. So we know Iowa is not going to score. Now, in offense, why is they got 4 receivers that are injured, and so he doesn't have anybody to throw it to. And they can't run because everybody's stacking a line, and he's not a running quarterback. He's a pocket quarterback. But that's okay if you got good receivers. So I'm not knocking that. But that's what you look for. You watch the new quarterbacks. So I've already posted 2 locks. 3 locks? I've already posted 3 locks. I have a 25-unit college lock going. I have that then a 21, and then I think I have another 21. Maybe not, but I will have at least 1 pro lock that I've already stumbled on, and then college. Now, college isn't as loaded as it's been. I mean, I've been going 16-2, 17-2. I find 20, 25 games. This week is a little bit different. I'm not finding as many, but I found like 10 games as opposed to 20. But that's fine, and I'll dig in. That's not including MAC play and like Sun Belt, where like, wait a minute, is it Ohio or Miami of Ohio or Akron, or who's the strong one? Then I got 4 games I'm waiting on quarterbacks. So I'm waiting on Oklahoma quarterback. I'm waiting on Arkansas quarterback, Kentucky quarterback, and Alabama quarterback. If they're out, we go one way. If they're playing, we go another. So I could have, depending on what happens, a couple of locks in there that I haven't even played yet because I don't know the status of the quarterback. And I don't know if I'm going to know it. I might not be able to post these till Friday night or Saturday morning because Saturday morning is when I learned that Oklahoma's quarterback was out last week. So I took Texas under. Alabama's quarterback got hurt during the game. Kentucky's quarterback was out, which I didn't know, but the line jumped. So Saturday I bet Mississippi State, and then there was another one in Arkansas where I was going to bet Arkansas, Mississippi. I was going to bet it over because Mississippi State scores a ton, but Arkansas with their quarterback scores a ton, and then he didn't play, and I saw the line jump, and the over-under really didn't move, and it still went over with the backup quarterback. So, again, you'll see the line, but I might have to wait till Saturday to see the line, or maybe Friday night, and then that'll tell me what to do. But because you look and they just say questionable, Alabama's shoulder questionable. Is he going to play? Tennessee could beat them very easily without the quarterback. So we will see what happens, where the line moves to. But again, try to rank your teams. This is the most important. Are they overs? Are they unders? What are they? And then once you know, but it's not always like I had Carolina as an under, but they're really a W. They're really kind of weak offense and a weaker defense than we think, even though the numbers say they're a better defense. Maybe it's who they played. Now we see the Niners putting up a 37. Well, on an under team, like the Bears or something, they're putting up 17. That's what you expect when under, like the Dallas Ram game, under versus under, and that's what you got was a low scoring game. That's what you're expecting. And so therefore you've got to be very conscious of that and go from there. And that's why I got to look at some of the games, especially week 1 and 2, because they're skewing the stats, which is skewing me from that's an under team to then I go, wait, shit, I just lost the lock because they're not an under team. Their defense sucks. I should have bet the Niners instead of the under, which I don't know because stat-wise, they're giving me the under, and that's why I do look into the stats to try to really zero in on what the hell are they. Anyway, I guess that's it. Any questions, comments? So I'm playing 5 and 10 team teasers with quite a few of you. Anybody who wants, I give you the picks and you send the betting slip, and then I get 20% of what we win. If we don't win, I don't get any money. If I do win, I just missed a 10-teamer with Alex, the freaking 49ers. We got through college. We had 6-0 in college. We got the 4 locks in the pros. Tampa wins. KC would have been a push, and then in Dallas under wins, and the fucking Niners, and they're winning. They're 45.5. It's 45. Just punt the fucking ball, and they go for it at their own 10. Unbelievable. And that's why the coach is out of a job, because he's a freaking moron. But it was unfortunate. But at least I know the Niners play the whole 4 quarters. They didn't let them out of the 10-yard line. So anyway, that's what's happening. So be careful. Make sure you understand the team and who they play. Look at old games and say, oh, wait, Baltimore went to Buffalo. They went to Miami and lost, and then they went to Baltimore and should have lost. Then they kill a really weak Pitt team. Are they really that strong, or are we going to get what they did against Miami and what they get against Baltimore? And that, which team is it? And against Kansas City, they will be fired up. This is revenge for a championship game. They look for Buffalo to play their best game, not the game they played against Miami or the game they played against Baltimore, where they sucked in both games. So that's what you got to look at. But KC is a home dog. I got to check their stats out. I know Tampa, you don't normally bet against Brady. So we will see. But that's the story. So we'll be back. Well, tomorrow I might do some economics. It's a good break from football. And then Thursday we do college. Friday we do pros. Saturday we update the injuries and the lines. So we got the 4 quarterbacks to see. If I don't know by Thursday, then we'll go over it Saturday morning. And then Sundays, any line changes to that. I don't think is the Jacksonville Indy game a London game, I wonder. I'll have to check the time. There are 2 buys. I know Detroit's one of them. So I don't know the 14. I just look at the teams that are playing. I don't care who's on the bye. And I really don't care after the bye. I really never do the stat for that. Bonilla, yes. What you think of the TCU Oak State over this? Yeah, I like the over. TCU, they have a new coach who's a really offensive-minded coach, and they got talent. They're like Alabama in the sense they score very fast, which is good for an over. Well, look at the Kansas game. It's 10-3 at the half. I go, I lost. There's no way I'm going to win. I was over 60 or something, 61. By the end of the third quarter, they put up, it was 31-24 by the end of the third quarter. And all I needed was one more touchdown, which I got 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. I hit my over on a game that was 10-3 at the half. Oak State, we know, can score. They put up big numbers on a good Baylor defense. This game will be probably a 100-point game. I absolutely like this game over. I'm not hearing of any of the quarterbacks getting hurt. That would be the only thing stopping it. So I go on covers.com and I do check for the injuries just to see. It kind of says questionable or not, but if you don't see the name, they're pretty good. Although I did hear from my BYU buddy, he says the BYU quarterback Hall, who's really good, hurt his wrist in the Utah State game. I didn't see him as questionable for Notre Dame. He says he couldn't even throw the ball versus Notre Dame. Then he took the shot at halftime, and then he could at least show. I didn't know he was injured. It's not even marked that he's injured. I got to talk to my buddy who works for the Department of Defense for the Navy to tell me that the quarterback on BYU's got a hurt hand when it's not anywhere in the injury list. No wonder they look like shit. No wonder they barely beat Utah State, and then no wonder they Notre Dame was killing them. Usually why I lose a lot of bets is the quarterback getting injured, right? I'll have the bet, the quarterback goes out. So it either screws up my over or under. I thought it was going to screw me in Kansas. The quarterback gets hurt, hurts his shoulder. That's what you get with a running quarterback, although he's a good passer. The backup comes in and lights it up, and I go, okay, fine. now I'm comfortable with Kansas's backup this week. So I don't know why he's not their quarterback, because he's a better passer than their starter. But that's what happens, right? Chase Nolan, Oregon State, gets hurt. They look like shit. Now he's questionable this week. Well, it's a big question if he plays or not, right? So anyway, that's what usually happens, is the quarterback gets hurt. It's funny. In week 2, my lock was Seattle as a road dog to Frisco. They're getting 15 points, and they should have won. I bet against Trey Lance. He gets hurt, and Garoppolo comes in. I'm like, no. Every other time I want the quarterback to get hurt helps me. This time it hurts me because Garoppolo is better. He plays, and then they win. But it was like they were winning the whole game, Seattle, with the points, and then they at the end they throw a pick six or something. But basically, then the quarterback gets hurt, hurts me. Usually I'm on the guy, he gets hurt, now I'm fucked. And there's really nothing you can do. It's just part of it. And that's why you realize that's why nothing's 100%. If everybody stays healthy in the game, that's when, like Tampa, Brady didn't get hurt, they win. Or the Dallas under, well, we got Cooper Rush, so that's good. But that's why you just are like that. So pending the quarterback getting hurt, we're okay. Anyway, so there's a slew of games this week in college. We're up to week 7 already. If I can find week 7. Where did week 7 go? Okay. There it is on the couch. Okay. So anyway, just categorize your teams, try to pick the score, and that'll help you immensely. And you try to not fuck with the good defensive teams unless you're playing on them or an under, like a Clemson. Good defensive team is starting to play better offensively, so now it's take Clemson or go under with the game. So you can do that. Georgia, I'm really in a dilemma this week because they're laying 38 and an over-under of 58 against Vandy, who's a over team. So I'm worried that this game could get out of hand. It was 70-0 last year. And so I'm really worried about the under here because, Georgia can really light it up because they've been getting kind of pissed on for not scoring. And Vandy could score on them with the way Georgia's been struggling defensively. I can almost see Vandy getting 20 and Georgia getting 40, and I can see it being a 60, which is still good because I think it's 58-59. But I'm a little bit I'm not going to lock Georgia under, I don't think. I like locking them against LSU and Auburn and these good defensive teams because I know they're not going to score on Georgia. So I know we're getting a lower scoring game. But I'm seeing Georgia put up 42 last week against Auburn's defense. I'm like, they could hit 65 against Vanderbilt and get the over by themselves and maybe even play them laying 38 down to 32. They could really blow out Vandy. So I don't know yet. I got to look at Vandy, who they played and how they played. But it's not an automatic. Normally it's Georgia under automatic, but not this week. So just keep that going. Game of the week, USC and Utah. Clemson, Florida State, good game. Michigan's got Penn State, very good game. There's a couple in the SEC. Alabama, Tennessee, very good game. I'm smelling an upset there very easily. If Alabama's quarterback doesn't play, I would think Tennessee gets the win and they're getting a touchdown. If he does play, then it's over city, and I think Alabama still kind of wins, but it'll be look for Tennessee to light them up. That's all I can say. They don't normally. This is Alabama's weakness. A mobile quarterback who can throw is Alabama's weakness. Johnny Manziel beat him twice because he was mobile. So just think of that. Anyway, go buy this. Buy it. I gave you the phone number. Tell them from Howard or Teaserking. I'm in there. I was just in there today talking. And so they're very good. They'll get it out to you. FedEx it second day. And it'll come. No worries about it coming. They're very they're very professional. They own 2 or 3 stores, so it's not like you got to worry about anything. And the key is you want to get it before it's gone. I mean, he's on a 4-week backlog that I doubt he'll get him. And he's out of gold. 1 Canadian and a couple of the buffalo heads. Now he seems to get a few ounces in, but not a lot. He'll get 3-4 ounces. Like I always, if I was in there now, he'd probably have 3-4 ounces of gold. Probably keeps a few back, but just for us little guys who buy an ounce or 2 and we're all excited. So just be careful with that. Anyway, buy it, get out of the market, this is really buying money. So really you're just getting out of US dollars, which because of the BRICS country, because of this whole war and the BRICS countries, the Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, India, because of them, they don't want to, they know they're not stupid. They realize we're inflating. They don't want US dollars. The rest of the world still does because they're getting out of their bullshit yens and euros and you look at the UK. So they need to get out of their dollars. So they're coming into ours, but ours isn't strong. Ours is weak. Ours is collapsing, just like all theirs is collapsing because it's all the same. You print too much. And before you get stuck with 50 grand of nothing, get it out. Now, I bought a lot of this, but I still have money that I don't know what to do with. That it's in my IRA. I sold my stocks. I got the money there, and I'm like, what the fuck do I get out of it? But then I got to pay tax because it's IRA. So I'm really confused right now, pulling it. But I don't want to. It's kind of my insurance money, so I kind of want to. Even if I did sell it, I don't think I'd put too much in gold and silver. It would just be keep it safe. So please keep your money safe. Get it out of the bank. Get it out of the stock market. For you Bitcoiners, it's just a pyramid scheme. I'm still waiting for somebody to actually explain why they're in Bitcoin, why they think it's going up, and why they're so like negative on gold and silver and so pro Bitcoin. They're sold a scam, but they don't understand it's a scam. And I don't understand. I explained pretty damn clearly these football picks and gold and silver and economics pretty fucking clearly. Like, you guys understand it. I don't understand. So why can't a Bitcoiner explain to me Bitcoin? As me and Nick talk, go buy a Tom Brady rookie card. Go buy the Joe Burrow rookie card. That's an asset. You have it. The best way I can explain Bitcoin, if somebody tried to pay me in Bitcoin, they couldn't because I don't have a Bitcoin account because I don't have Bitcoin. So therefore, you can't pay me in Bitcoin. So what good is your Bitcoin if you can't use it? You can only use it if somebody else has a Bitcoin account. So you want to go to a grocery store, a restaurant, and how are you going to use it? They don't take Bitcoin. They don't have the account. But if I walk in with this, I'm pretty damn sure I'm going to be able to get whatever I want because I can hand it to the guy. He might not be able to make change in silver at this point, but he will later. They'll have the coins and he'll give me 9 coins for the 10 coins here. And that's kind of the best way I can explain it. I can walk in with gold or silver into a store and use it to buy the food and what I need. You can't walk into a store with Bitcoin and use it. That's why it's not money. That's why it's not an asset. It's really nothing. And I don't know what to do to tell you that it's nothing, to get it through. So you to open your eyes to understand we all watch Money Heist. I'm the professor. Did they steal Bitcoin or did they steal 90 tons of gold? I mean, they didn't steal Bitcoin. Nobody's stealing Bitcoin but the Russian mafia, right? And the government hates it because the government wants you in US dollars. That's why gold and silver are so low. I heard an ad about gold. Oh, you don't want to buy those old Roman coins. You want to be in this CD. And I'm like, or mutual, they're selling like mutual funds or they're selling stocks. And they're basically saying how bad gold is. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to call these, it's like, how do you talk to these people? Like they think, they think the sun's green and the grass is blue. I mean, you can't talk to these idiots, but that's what it is. You've got to understand. You couldn't pay me in Bitcoin because I don't have it, nor do I want it. You can pay me in silver. You can pay me in gold. You wanted to pay for a week's service. This is $230. So if you wanted the month cost you $300. You get all the picks for 4 weeks. You could give me this, and I would take that as payment of the month for $300. Right? If you gave me a 10-ounce silver or a 1/10 gold, I bought some 1/10 golds. I figured the lower. It was still buying a half ounce, but I bought it in tenths of an ounce. I think I might need that. I might need lower level gold also to do that. But that's where I can hand you gold or silver, and everybody, you don't need a gold account. You don't need a silver account. This is going in the safe. It's not going in the bank. And Bitcoin, I forget, let's assume electricity works. You can get into your account, but how do you get the money? How do you pay somebody who doesn't have it? But I don't have that. I could walk into any place with this and use it, and people will take it. I guarantee you. If I go to Kroger's right now and I walk into the manager, now with this whole temp, this is $200. Well, I guess if I bought $200 worth of groceries and I said, here, I'm going to pay you with this, and I talked to the manager, I would bet he would take it. I would, but I'm getting a physical thing. Now, if I walked in with the Tom Brady rookie card and it was graded PSA 10 and I said, I want groceries, I guarantee you he'd take it. He doesn't need an account, and he'd be like, fuck, a Tom Brady PSA 10, I'll take it. So, I mean, because you can physically give it to him is the whole key to it. I can physically give this to you. You don't need an account. But if you tried to pay in Bitcoin, sorry, I don't take Bitcoin. I don't have an account. I can't accept it. So you can't pay me in it. That's the problem with Bitcoin in a nutshell. Where does it get its value at? You want to think 21 million is limited, really? Can you prove it's 21 million? No. Is it really limited? Well, me and Nick can tell you there's Tom Brady rookie cards that are 300 count. I think 300 counts a little more limited than 21 million. So I think Bitcoin is like baseball cards. It's like a collectible. The difference is I can give anybody the Brady rookie card, and you're going to take it and pay me for it in lieu of, right? You can give me gold or silver for it. But Bitcoin, if I don't have an account, you can't pay me. It's useless. And I think really that's probably the key. Why it has a value, who knows? But it's only valuable to the people in Bitcoin who can get it. And then what do they do with it? They got to turn it into dollars. So what happens when the US dollar folds? What happens to Bitcoin? I know what happens with this goes to the moon, and it'll buy stuff without US dollars. This will still buy food or clothing or whatever. So this will be worth a fortune. What's Bitcoin going to be worth? How are you going to revalue it? There's a digital currency. Now Bitcoin's worth 1,000 digital. I mean, see, I don't need US dollars for this. That's really the difference. So I don't understand where Bitcoin gets its value, but I don't understand why I would never put what's Bitcoin, $2,000 a coin, or what's it at? No, what was it? 20,000, 19,000? Would you buy 10 ounces of gold at 2,000 an ounce, or one Bitcoin? What would you buy with 20,000? I think we all know I'd buy 10 ounces of gold. I wouldn't buy Bitcoin, if you paid me to buy the Bitcoin. I'd have to get an account, and then what do I do with it? Where do I go with it? The dollar's collapsing. Where's my value? I can only give it to somebody who has an account. If you don't have an account, I can't walk into a Mercedes dealer and give him Bitcoin. He's not going to take it, but I can come in if this was gold and give him the gold, and I'd drive out in a Mercedes. That's really the difference. And that's what people don't understand. For some reason, they think Bitcoin is gold, which, again, you can't give it to somebody, so it's not gold. You need an account to get it, so it's not money. It's not used everywhere where gold and silver are, and it blows my mind. It's an asset, gold and silver, that everybody wants, and everybody knows what it is. Why people don't like it now, they're so brainwashed that they need money. They're just not educated. I mean, that's what I'm doing here, is trying to educate you. I'm trying to explain it so you understand it and you understand why. And I think the only people really in Bitcoin are Russian mafia and Chinese mafia. It was made for the Russian and the Chinese mafia so they could launder their money. The U.S. gets it and they think, oh, this is great. I can buy it for $1,000 and it goes up to 50 grand. Now it's down to 20. Oh, well, it's going to go back up to 50. Why? The Chinese and the Russian billionaires are in gold now. They're not in Bitcoin. They're out of Bitcoin. They've laundered their money and they're in gold and silver. And they buy these super yachts. That's what the Russian mafia does. They're not in Bitcoin because you can't do anything with it. So who they sold it to, I don't know how it works. So if I had 5 coins and it's worth 100,000, how do I sell it? Who do I sell it? Do I sell it to somebody or sell it back to Mr. Bitcoin or whoever the Japanese guy is who invented it? I'm sure it's mafia. So just be careful. Know what you're getting into. Understand what an asset is. It's physical. This is an asset. As the dollar drops in value, this goes up. That's not what's happening in Bitcoin. This is control. That's why this isn't going up, but that's ending. COMEX is out of whack. You're going to see it go to market. With Bitcoin, I don't know what it is. So just be careful. It's just, I'm trying to help you. I don't want you hurt. You're going to get hurt in Bitcoin because it's not real. It's not an asset. You can't buy a house with it. You can't buy a car, but I can with gold. People will take gold. They won't even ask questions. As long as they see 999 silver or 999 gold, it's a done deal. It's sold. The fact that this is a bar versus a coin, it's 10 ounces of silver. That's all people care about. So they can use it. They'll give it value. Anyway, this protection for your life, this will keep you alive. Now, granted, you still need food and water because there's going to be problems with that. They're polluting water. There's all these fish died in Germany. There's a German-Poland river that runs that all the fish got poisoned. It's like they're fucking poisoning the water now, and then they're blowing up the pipeline. What the hell is that all about? So there's a lot of danger going on in the world. So you got to protect yourself. The gold and silver will do it. And then you got to figure out a food substitute and a water. Water, you can probably buy those little Abso Pure filters or, pure filter and filter out the danger. But for food, I don't know. I have no. I can only buy so many avocados. They won't stay for 6 months. But be careful with that. You can't just buy real estate for protection. And it's hard to buy Rolex. Rolex, you need to turn into something. Gold and silver, you don't need to turn in. So keep that in mind. This is money. I don't need. So if I have a Rolex and it's worth $20,000, I can't use it to buy a Mercedes. I need to turn it into money, gold, silver, or US dollars, and then I can use it. Here, I don't have to turn it into anything. I don't need to do anything with it. I'll be able to use the gold and silver as money to buy things, and that's really what the point of the money is. Keep that in mind. All right, www.teaserking.com. I'll be back Thursday with the college. Now I'll be looking at the I'll update the statistics. College, I've already updated. And I got to watch some games and see what the hell happened in Tampa game. And I saw what happened in the Oakland game, which I couldn't believe. Such bad refereeing. Anyway, www.teaserking.com. You want to play a 5-team teaser or bet teasers? I've got people where they're making a 2-team teaser bet with my picks. I get 20%. So you get my picks, you pick my brain, and I get 20% of what you win. You lose, you don't owe me anything. Either way, or just buy the picks. Then you got the picks. And if you want questions, you want to play a 16 teaser, 10-team teaser, I can help you with that if you're a buyer. I won't just help you if I don't get the 20%. I can't just give you the picks. It's just you got to pay for the locks and everything. Unless we're doing a teaser, then I'm going to give you my best plays. You won't know they're my locks. I'm just going to say bet these teams, and off we go. Anyway, and then you'll get my email, and you can email me. All I ask is that if we do this, that you do give me the ticket before. So make your bet. Send me, email me the ticket so I know these are the games. This is the amount. Then we don't have any problems. Did you bet it? Oh, I didn't bet it. Well, wait a minute. You can't do that. You have to show me, or I won't give you the picks, because then I think you're just getting the picks and you're not playing. You're not. I can't get 20% if you didn't. Oh, I didn't make the bet. Well, what did you take the picks for? Anyway, so we can do that if you want. And this should be this should be another strong week. Like I said, I've already posted, I think, 3 locks. I think in college. I don't think I got the pro locks yet because I'm just starting to look at it. Anyway, have a good day. Please be careful. Thank you for coming to class. And, if you need me, just go to the site and email me. And I'm always watching the email. All right, www.teaserking.com. Have a great week, everybody. I'll talk to you later.